Welcome to the Doggone Positive Way, where I am going to teach you how to train your dog using science-based methods that we know work, and it's going to be easy and it's going to be fun. Anybody can do it, and it can be done anywhere. So hang out with me, listen to my pod, and let's get going and training your dogs. Welcome back to the Doggone Positive Way. This is season 2, episode 4, and this series is about buying a puppy or getting a new dog during the holidays and what you need to be prepared for. So last week we talked about crate training. I also dropped a little bonus episode about dog food, and tonight we're going to be delving into just actual house training. So you've got your crate. It's the appropriate size. You listen to the previous episode about picking out the proper size and proper style of crate, whether it's plastic or wire or some that is made out of wood or composite material that is actually looks like it's part of your furniture, so it fits into your decor. So you've got all that down. And you've got your puppy, and you're like, oh my God, I have to crate train the puppy. And I have to house train the puppy. So we're dealing with really just the house training piece of it right now. With house training, I want you guys to get a couple of things. One, get a set of bells, because you need a set of bells for your puppy to ring. You're going to teach your puppy to ring that bell. You're not going to give them free access to the bell because they're puppies, and they're going to be spending most of their puppy life in the crate or on a leash with you. When they're not supervised, they have to be in the crate, period. Just like a child would be if you had a playpen or a crib at night. You have your puppy contained to keep them safe, but also to keep your materials safe, your furniture safe, your wires safe, of course, keeping the puppy safe with that. Your walls safe, your molding safe, your furniture legs safe. I mean, I can just go on of all the things that your puppies could do in your house if you are not watching them. And when I say watching them, I don't mean being in the same room as them. I mean, literally, you need to have your eyes on them because they're puppies and you can't trust them. They're not trustworthy. They can't handle the house by themselves. That's too much for them. They're too little. They're too young. And you just want to be able to protect them. You want to prevent damage done to your belongings. And you also want to prevent them from practicing how to chew, how to steal things. And I can tell you from experience, this is very important. We have a 10-year-old dog. He's going to be 11. He was never crate trained. And so now as an adult dog, he still does all of the things that he learned to do when he was a puppy. So basically what I'm telling you is that if your dog is stealing your shoes when they're a puppy and chewing them, if you don't learn how to prevent that from happening or nip it in the bud right away, we're human, we make mistakes. We left our shoes out one time, say, and the puppy grabs a shoe. Don't chase the puppy. Get the shoe back. You can do a trade with another toy. You can do a trade with a treat. And then you are going to clean up your house and put your shoes in the closet and close the closet door, because you also have to do your preventative work. And some people are like, oh, why do I have to do all this stuff? It's so annoying and da-da-da-da. Well, I'm telling you, you have to do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to get really angry at your puppy for chewing your items. And I can't tell you how annoying it is. It is super annoying. You don't want to go down that road. You don't want them to learn bad behaviors, okay? So enough about don't-ing. All right, so use your crate as preventative, right? So, okay, let's just pick a day in a life of you and your puppy. You get up at 6 a.m., you go to the crate, you get your puppy out, you put your puppy on a leash, you go straight to the door, you say, You want to go outside, and while you're at the door, you ring the bell, ring, 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 and get your puppy involved in it. So what I mean by that is you can pick up their paw and hit the bells with it. Or you can, what I usually do, especially with a larger dog, is get their nose and just nuzzle it into it, and it rings, they ring the bell, and then, you're helping them, obviously, but then they go outside. So they're making the association that when the bell rings, the door opens, we go outside, I do my business. Now, let's talk about doing business. You can call it whatever you want. Some people do call it, go do your business, go hurry up. I say go potty. And with Rufus, for pooping, I would tell him to go big potty. And he knew, I don't know how I came up with that, but I came up with that. And he knew sometimes he'd go out, he'd pee, and he'd want to come back in. And I was like, no, go big potty, Rufus. And he would turn around and go back out and do big potty. So you can name it whatever naturally comes out of your mouth. I'm going to leave that to you. But you want to create a little cue to it, because when you're traveling, that's when your cue comes in. When you're out there and you're, we're going to go on a vacation and take the dog with us, and you're at a hotel and, there's not a lot of grass around or what have you, you need to have that on cue so that your dog will go potty. So you can take him or her outside and say, go potty, and they know what you want of them and what's expected of them, because you trained it in at your house from when they were a baby. We're basically future-proofing your dog, your puppy. I'll tell you what future-proofing is. Future-proofing is preparing your dog, your puppy, for anything that's going to come down the pike later on in life. And house training and adding a cue to going potty is just one of the small ways that you can future-proof your puppy, so that their travel time as they're an adult, it gets easier. And not only is it easier on them, it's easier on you. It's less stressful for you. All right, so let's talk about nighttime. Now, nighttime seems to be that magic time, unless you have really young puppies. Some people get puppies that are like around 8 weeks, 10 weeks. That's really young. They're not going to make it through the night. You're going to hear them whine. You're going to get up. You're going to have their leash right there. So it's get up, open the crate, leash the puppy, take them outside. You can pick them up if you need to. Sometimes you should pick them up, because sometimes you open the crate and you're walking them and they're peeing. So if you can scoop them up, no problem. Get to the door, put them down, or if they're already down, again, ring the bell again, okay? So it's ring, 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 ring. Use their paw or their nose, and then you go outside. And then come back in, put your puppy back in the crate. And I want to also talk about when to give them a treat. A lot of people wait until they come inside to give them a treat, but I want you to give them a treat outside. Good potty or good big potty, whatever you decide to name your potty situations, just reinforce them while they're outside. You want to start getting into the habit of reinforcing your dog while they're doing the behavior, or very close after, like super close. You can tag it with a yes while they're peeing or while they're pooping, and then they come back to you and you give them a treat right there. Okay, they will start to make an association. Now, a lot of people don't have yards. Some of you live in apartment buildings. Some of you, just don't have a yard, period. And that's totally fine. You live in a city or what have you. So you're going to be leash walking your pet, okay, your puppy. So, okay, let's talk about the length of leash. Please do not use anything longer than a 4-foot leash to walk your pet outside. You walk your adult dog or your puppy. I don't want you using retractable leashes. I'm going to do an episode on retractable leashes at some point. But retractable leashes give your dogs way too much distance away from you. You want to be able to have control over your dog. And since you're outside, you cannot really control the outside environment. There's no way. You can't control if a squirrel's going to run in front of you, a cat's going to jump out of a bush, another dog's going to come out, an aggressive animal's going to come out, somebody, a child may run up. Okay, so you want your dog close to you. Not in a fearful way, let's not go that route, but just in a way that you're just walking with your dog. Is your dog able to smell and pee and poop while they're on leash? Of course your puppy can do that because you're right there. Nothing is happening. If you're really tall, maybe use a 6-foot leash. No more than that, okay? I like to use leather leashes. They're really soft and comfortable. I get homemade or handmade leashes. I've had my handmade leashes actually, gosh, since like even before I was a dog trainer, like 1994. So that's a long time. And I still have 2 of the originals. So go figure, right? Some really well-made leather leashes. There's no stitching or rivets in them. So they're solid. And I just want that because it's soft for me on my hands. And I want to be comfortable too. And there's nothing wrong with us being comfortable. I like to hold the leash in one hand on my right side. I'm sorry, on my left side. I walk the dogs typically on the left side. And I say typically because it's not 100% always that way. And sometimes I need my dogs to be on either side. So pick a side right now and we'll talk about switching it up later on down the road. So when you get the appropriate size leash and you're outside, I want you to, movement causes movement, but you don't want so much movement that you're walking miles and your dog has done absolutely nothing. So when you go outside, and this is even in your backyard, but we're focusing on leash walking right now. When you're outside, when your puppy's on a leash, they're going to be enthralled with everything on God's green earth. The leaves, the other animals' poop, the squirrel, the butterfly. You get the point, right? All right, so it's your job to keep them moving, but I want you to keep them moving in an area that maybe is like 6 by 6, 6 feet long. It doesn't have to be 6 feet wide, but just 6 feet long, just back and forth, back and forth. You're wanting to get them to go to the bathroom. So that movement, that little exercise, as it were, not really, but just going back and forth, 2 things. You're causing the movement, they're moving, right? And you're also in a designated area. I think it's really important to walk your dog and have them eliminate in a certain area, even in your yard. I love it. Troy and Rufus is no longer with us, but Rufus used to, Troy still does, obviously, he's here, goes really far in the backyard. We call it the back 40. Goes all the way back there, and they do their poop back there. So you can train your dog to go in a specific area. I like doing that. It's important for me to just have that, just off away from everybody. And then I can go and scoop later or not scoop, whatever you can do. Now, if you're leash walking, obviously you're outside in the neighborhood, you have to pick up. So don't forget to bring your poop bags with you. But you want to go back and forth and keep that movement going in the dog. So we've got movement causes movement, and really your dog eliminates, you reinforce, good baby, or mark it with a yes and good job, and go back inside and have some free time, and then maybe take the puppy out again. You know why? Because movement causes movement. A lot of people play with their puppies, and mid-play, the puppy decides to, I have to pee, because they were, jostling themselves around. So be prepared to do that, to go in and out a lot, okay? Don't come in and put the puppy straight in the crate. I don't like that. I want you guys to mix it up. I want your puppies to have that free time, that playtime outside after they eliminate. And I'm not talking about hours or 15 minutes, just a few minutes. Just like spend 5 or 10 minutes if you can. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's not a lot of time. Just allot that in as best as you can. You want your dogs to be able to go outside, do their business, relax, play a little bit for a few minutes, then come inside. Maybe if you play with them outside, they'll do that mid-play pee outside. So you've got to kind of feel that out. Once your puppy's eliminated, you've reinforced them, you're going to need to put them in the crate, because now you've got to get ready for work, right? We're up at 6 and all that. So you get ready for work. And while you're getting ready for work, your puppy can either eat breakfast out of his Kong, or Bust-A-Cube, or the lick mat, or all 3. but they need to do it in the crate because two things. One, you want that crate to be like a rockin' place. That's the best place on earth. And two, you want the containment so that you can manage the puppy. That's all there is to it. So the crate's your best friend. You're going to reinforce when your puppy goes outside, whether it's in your yard or on a leash out in the neighborhood. Now, if you have a puppy in a big yard, you need to get a leash and use a leash in your yard as well. That's really important to do. Because if you have a puppy and you have a big yard, even if you don't have a big yard, even if you have like a speck of a yard, your dog and your puppies are going to be more interested in everything else. So you need to take control, walk them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until they eliminate. You reinforce them and then boom, you're done. Playtime. Another mid-pee or even mid-poop happens too. Remember, they're babies. And then they get their crate time with their treats or their food. And when you're feeding them, you have to take them out again. So there's a lot of going out. This is what we do as far as how long you should keep your puppy in a crate in between, going out. Like how long can your puppy hold it? Typically, the rule of thumb is if your puppy is 8 weeks old, we're going to say 8 weeks. Okay, that's 2 months. So 2 months, add an hour to it, about 3 hours. Some puppies can go a little tiny bit more than the 3 hours, but you're basically taking their age in months, and then you are adding 1 to it, and that's the amount of time that your puppy can hold their pee or poop safely. So use that as a guide as you go through house training. Listen, this has been a great episode. I'm loving this. I hope you're loving it too. I hope this information is really informative for you. Please ask me any questions. I know this was just a little tiny segment of crate training. We'll probably do more, next episode, maybe a part 2 about the rest of your day, because we just covered the morning time. All right, guys, I hope you have a groovy day. Remember, reinforce your puppies and your adult dogs in the act of doing it right. They're sitting down, laying down, give them a cookie. Don't forget to stuff those Kongs and Buster Cubes, and have a doggone positive day. Bye. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the doggone positive way. I hope I've helped you solve some of your behavior problems. And if you have questions, please leave comments. If you liked what you heard, please leave comments. Please share the podcast. Let your friends know I'm here to help you and your dogs and their dogs. Thanks again for listening. Can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye.